All right. So, how to use AI to prevent AI from replacing your job. And some of my viewers are Twitch viewers, maybe a little on the younger side. So, if you're in school and you're at all interested in possibly getting a leg up with school, with training, then it's not dissimilar. Pretty much the same thing is just going to be using an AI program like the one here. In this case, if you need to record conversations, if you're on Zoom, if you're in training, tutoring, and you're seriously trying to learn, you can, from your tutoring sessions, after you're recording the transcripts of your tutoring, or you're in training or for certification in school, you can then export those transcript conversations and load them into your longer term memory or any other files or things that you need to know. And this is a very flexible system, so any documents pertaining to you, things you've written, things you want to know, should know, might forget, all your notes, whether this is for a certification, for a project you're working on, something creative, something in business, whatever, maybe you're writing something, so you would load anything that the model wouldn't have access to, like this 405 billion parameter model knows all the books already. So if there's a piece of information, a document it might not know, you would load that in here, and then you'd be able to reference that along with your conversations, and then that would be something that you could use. It could tell you things you might not know, areas you need to pay a little more attention to. And you could also use this. This has a screenshot possibility here. So also when you're looking, if you're in a apprenticeship to learn how to do some kind of machining, you're trying to learn about machines or conditions, repairing a machine, I don't know, whatever technical piece of equipment in the entire world you might be working on. So you could have a picture of that on screen with some question about it on screen. And then in your prompt here, you could ask the prompt to just give you the answer. Maybe it's time to get the certification and you want the answer, or you want it to just give you a hint in case you don't know. So when you're going through your study materials, maybe I could find an example here. Study material, no. I knew I had this screen open here.
Old days it
right.
would be.
So this is a CompTIA certification exam. Don't know what this is, but different questions on the screen, multiple choice. Here's a question about a drum. Let's back up here. So at this point, the AI is poised to give the answer. And you can make this skinny when looking at your screen, make it hidden. Use the AI now to get the certification and get hired, and then use the AI at the job. And maybe your employer doesn't want to be deceived about this. Maybe that's a look the other way kind of policy, but your employer, the owners, the shareholders, the customers will all be happy they have someone so smart with so many answers. So I don't think there's anything unethical about it. So what does the AI, now that it can see all this on screen, think the answer is here? It's saying the answer is C, drum. I don't really know what the question is. And let's see. I think I already had it on the screen that it was the drum. It is the drum. And very broad, far-reaching, endless horizon of all the different, what would you call it, high-tech, industrial economy we live in, and has a very deep knowledge of everything. So what are you going to do? Maybe you're in college now, or maybe you're employed now, young or old. I think you both kind of have the same problem. What am I going to do in a world with AI? So you're still going to be collaborating with people. You're still going to be dealing with customers. If you're not dealing with customers, you're going to be conversing, collaborating with someone else in your organization, also trying to work on something for customers, working on goods or services. If it's straight up business, so why not collaborate, especially doing hard problems, especially if your job is not a job where the public is held hostage to keep paying your wages. You know what I'm talking about? A government job. If you're in a real job doing real things, it's probably kind of hard to do. So when you're doing hard things and you're working towards the resolution of that hard thing, you get real questions. And the questions are apparent in the conversation. And especially when you get to a point in the conversation, that's why I have the prompt here now, is the prompt is set up to look for the most current part of the conversation after taking all of the conversation into context, the relevant part at the thing that is in question at the end of the conversation, because that's when you're going to be clicking the button here and getting the thing that is in question, like what even is a drum for a laser printer? I don't know. What does that mean? What is it for? Why is it even called a drum? I don't know. These are not really things relevant to a customer paying for something, but it is still something in question in this conversation. And there's a whole explanation about what the drum is, and a little bit of talking before about what an AI system is. A drum in this context refers to a critical component of a laser printer. It's a cylindrical component that is coated with a photosensitive material. During the printing process, the drum is charged, then the laser beam used to discharge areas that are being printed, creating an image, whatever. So it's not only AI. I think a lot of people in companies, I don't even know how you do it with those office jobs. But whatever you're doing there, you're at the computer, you're dealing with data, you're moving data, you're talking to people while you are in front of the computer. This also works and transcribes just as fast on a laptop if you have a laptop. And we'll talk about different agents too. When you hear talk about agents, which is the most trendy, most high return application of AI in business, we'll talk about different things that agents do. And this can do all of the things that they're saying agents can do. So you don't have to get someone in there, go to your boss, tell them not to hire an agency to build custom software for agents. That's going to cost them a six-figure contract. This can do it for $29 a month instead. And winsystem.dev, W-I-N, what's important now. Winsystem.dev, the Win System. And that's the website there. But before I get off track and go in too many directions at once, hey, what was my point? I think I lost my train of thought. What was my point? What point was I going to make? Understanding the capabilities of a system tool that can assist with tasks, particularly customer facing or problem solving. Yeah, I talked about that. So there's also the RAG system. And anyway, this is about how you make yourself future-proof with AI, whether you're just starting out, whether you want to use this in school, whether you don't like school. How about that? You're a high school kid. You don't like school, especially if it's public school. You're not learning. Are you really see people out there in their 20s? Find a kid who's like been in the job market for a few years and ask them how much public education prepared them. So that's something. Get certified. Get your certifications now at 14, 15, 16 and use this. Use this to study. Use this to master really the thing you don't like and to get your resume built up with this. Doing training, getting your certifications. And let's talk about agents, because agents are the thing that is really minting a lot of multimillionaires. So the thing you might build if you are in customer service that is in danger of replacing customer service agents, not only that automatic voice robot voice, question and answering, which you can get now at about $12 a month. A lot of services provide that, or that's something you could string together with a server and a phone answering app that interfaces with code and an AI model like this. But that's not what we're talking about. I don't think anyone likes to even talk to those anymore. If you're calling one of those, it might only be because you don't have the maybe you're a first-time customer and you have the credit card. You're just trying to pay with a credit card. Those are okay in that case. But other than that, I don't know about you, but I'm pressing 0 and I'm saying human customer service. So getting to a human, if you are in customer support, you want one of these with you. If you're a boss and you have a person dealing with customers, you want them to have this. You want all of your company documents and a document that says these are examples of good customer service phone calls in all one document. Huge list of conversations, start of conversation, customer service agent says this, customer service agent, kind of like a movie script. These are bad. What was bad about them? You could get an AI to review what was bad and what they should have done in each case. And then what was good about every conversation and what was good in each case. And have the AI digest all of that. And then when your customer service agent is on the phone, they have a prompt here to recognize whether it's a deep technical question or whether the customer service agent is dealing with something that needs to be escalated, something that needs to go to this agency or that agency, or it needs to go to the senior most official, or it just needs a specific answer. You need customer supports. And then the output of this could even go to someone who handles tickets. Like you could get this to be output at the end of the call. And I'll talk about, since we're talking about agents, there's a way to connect this up with other software, with your phone calling software or with your software that you use to create an event. If it's Jira or if it is Salesforce, although this already has Salesforce integration. But if you have any kind of software you already use, and you probably do, if you're working in an organization. You could set up a server that will call and work your one server in between, kind of middleware that can, when an event happens over here, when a call is created, whether someone at your organization picks up a phone call from a customer or makes a phone call to a customer, starts transcribing it, and then at the end of the call or at every 5-minute intervals, it asks the question in the prompt in the AI, and then it sends that transcript off. But then at the end of the phone call, you could say, have an output or have another model look at this at the end of an output, like send this off to another script. The script says this is a phone call, and what about this phone call should be brought to the attention of another person or part of the organization. And that other model could also be loaded up with your RAG. In fact, you could have another instance of this running on a different computer. And, I don't know. Let me know if you want me to have more than one instance available, because right now it's only one instance per computer. Although you could deal with a virtual machine, but that's one situation. I went all over. The reason I'm talking in 12 directions, spaghetti brain, galaxy brain at once, is because of the flexibility of this one tool. The core of it is it hears your conversation, the other person. It knows those roles. It can or cannot take a screenshot. It can take the screenshot and not have a conversation included. That's the core, and then getting that question from the AI. But then what else you can do with it, the other little tweaks I have built in, the fact that you could call this with other code, calling these routes, having these execute things. This is now we're talking about the agent thing already, and just these customer support issues, having the frequently asked questions get searched when the customer calls. And that's also something you could do from exporting the transcripts and saying what are the top 10 or top 100 frequently most asked questions, depending how large your organization is, and then have a kind of a stock answer ready from your prompt. Look in the RAG here. These are your local files. Look in your local RAG files and tell me what is this in the frequently asked question category. So that will remove the friction. When you do call customer service and you get to the human, you want the human to give you the answer, obviously, as soon as possible. That's the best thing for all parties. The customer wants to get off the phone. The customer service agent wants to get to the next call. The owner of that business paying the customer service agent wants the customer service agent to handle the next call. The people owning the business and the people who pay to go to the business don't want to pay a customer service agent to just be dumb and say dumb things, right? So literally this stuff built in here and these things I'm describing are what the AI agencies, the agencies, the people who build agents, who build up software to listen in and extract things from phone calls. This is the kind of thing that they are building, but it's already here in this one piece of software for $29. And it does most of the other things that agents are doing. When you hear this agent term, and the productivity increases, which causes layoffs. So you can just have this tool or bring this tool in. Just like customer support, it's not that different from sales, but a lot of similarities to sales. And I talked about how this has Salesforce integration built in. So if you use Salesforce and you are not using agents, you've been a little behind the curve, which is understandable, because I hope whether you did or did not pay $100,000 to an AI agency, I think you want to, use the system here. This software, there is, I'm sure, you know, venture capital and software companies build software like this, and they will go market it, millions of dollars involved, and market this software, but then not tell you what the price is. When it comes to learning what the price is, they say contact us. And when you click contact us, you have to deal with their sales team. All of that marketing and all of that sales team is the reason why their software costs so much, and then why they nickel and dime you for every additional feature, like having RAG or having Salesforce integration. Let's talk about Salesforce. Right now I only have Salesforce. I might add these other ones later. Send me a message on the website, winsystem.dev. That's where you would get your free 7-day trial at no commitment, no need to enter a credit card or anything. It's literally just one email per computer. Every one of those gets 7 days. So anyone who wants to try this, but send me an email here. Maybe I'll lower the price. Maybe you want new features. Maybe I'll even add new features, and the price might have to go up a little bit if I do that, but tell me about what features you might want. But Salesforce integration in here, and we can talk about how that works. Let's disable the RAG, and let's enable the CRM. It is only Salesforce right now. And let's create a new contact, and this is something that could work if you're looking at emails, or you have an email open on the screen. As long as it looks like a contact, then clear the transcript as well so it's not getting confused. But if you have something on your screen, if you have emails open, or you have a customer's contact information in one system open, this program is smart enough that you don't have to build a AI pipeline of custom software around your existing. This is, use the flexibility and the intelligence of the AI to give you the turbo boost with its innate intelligent capabilities. So now we're in the sales part of the way to ensure your job is not being taken over by an AI. And so this would be creating a contact. If you're on the phone, cold calling, someone might be a lead. There also is a little toggle for a lead. Actually, let's walk through them. A little toggle for a lead, case, task, event. A task is different from an event, because a task is just like a to-do. At some point on the to-do list, your task will be to get something done. If like a customer or the boss wants something, that could be in an email. You could create a task with that, or an event, opportunity. How is opportunity different from a lead, or a case? Maybe is more for a problem, but you would know Salesforce better than me if you're the type of person who already has Salesforce, and then you have this instead of hiring an AI agency, or leasing some high cost, high pressure sales AI software that might do similar things to this. Come to me for $29 a month, and I'm a freelance developer, so you don't even have to deal with me. I do not even handle your API keys. But let's get on to it now with the contact demonstration of that. So let's ask the AI. Oh, it thinks I need a new trial. This feature requires an active license or trial. What? Okay, let me look at something here. I have this software, so let me go into my developer situation here. One moment, please, bear with. You know, I've been pushing new versions of the software, refreshing the server, the website. So I might have to restart this, or maybe not. There it went. I just updated my trial. I had myself in the trial version of the software. So anyway, that extracted the contact. Human in the loop doesn't just send it to Salesforce. So then you press send it to the Salesforce CRM, auth complete. Now let's go have a look in Salesforce, and this might take a minute or two and a refresh or two before we can see the contact in there. That's not my fault. That's Salesforce. So there's that name, fake name, Goldie Jolie, like Goldie Hawn and Angelina Jolie, was all the stuff in here in this faux email. So let's have a look at the contact, and we'll look at the details. I don't know how to make this screen look any better, but all the info is in there. How can I make this fit all in a way that you can see it, that's big enough? And then if I make it bigger, will you still be able to see it? Anyway, you get the point, and you can do this with all your most common uses of Salesforce. And this is also good at preventing a collision. If someone else somewhere doesn't know that this person is already a lead in your organization and they want to send this off to Salesforce, right in here, they're going to get in fact, I could probably show you that. They're going to get a red text happening that might prevent it. Let's see what it does. So same information gets pulled up again. And then if when you try to send it, Salesforce will not allow it, which is good, because you don't want, even though you have a technically agent with a human in the loop, which is what they're calling this. The term agent is really using the word agent quite liberally, because it's not actually an agent with its own volition, but this is what the developer shop, the AI developer shop, might sell you on this idea of an agent. But it is definitely putting in that effort that would take a human some effort to add this into Salesforce, right? So there's that information. Contact is created. Didn't let you create a duplicate one. So if your company is big or small and you're dealing with this person again, and one of your employees tries to enter this person into Salesforce, it will prevent a duplicate. Then you don't want a duplicate in there, because one version of the contact will have some relevant stuff and the other duplicate of the contact will have other relevant stuff. You don't want that. And before you even thought that might be a problem, we show here that it's not an issue. So Nice safeguard in place for that. What else can we do with this? Can we create a case from that same email? Switching it to case. The data or the display on the screen shows that now we're creating a case object from the conversation or from the text on the screen. And this might work, it might not. I don't remember which objects cause a type of collision, but and prevent you from doing a duplicate like we saw there. But this might also be something that allows it. So here we have different details. So good, right? You have different details being extracted from the information on the screen, like much more of a subject that you got in the contact. So this is intelligence. This is why you need to, if you're at a job, you need to use this. Or if you're just like slow, bad attitude, complacent, or trying to sell the thing that you want to sell, you know, I think you got to go into your boss's office or whatever you're doing, or if you're freelance. This is so good, right? So let's try sending this off. Maybe that'll also say it's no, not a duplicate. Maybe, maybe not. Yeah, no. Okay. That sent it off. And we'll give Salesforce a minute to see where that loaded. As we saw last time, it can take a minute or two. Recent record, the thing that it adds will always, or usually in my experience, be in the recent record. So let's look at the case. Case has a number, status is new. The fact that it has, that happens to be the name I'm using there, that's because of my client ID in my account. Your own employee or you yourself will have that client ID. And for this case, maybe the case is a problem, or the case is a, I don't know, what are even cases in Salesforce? I just hope this is enough things for Salesforce, especially to get started. I just hope this is something valuable to you. And there you go. Plenty of walkthrough there. So another feature, right? Let's keep walking through the AI agents. And this really is what they are calling agents. We're going right through them, bop, 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 with this one tool. And if you don't find this video, if you're someone who needs something like this and you end up spending hundreds of thousands, like, it's not even the fact that the contract will cost $100,000 just to install these things in your business, in the customer service pipeline, in the sales pipeline, into your Salesforce pipeline. It's not just that they connect that. They're going to connect models to it, which this does have a model connected to it. But when they connect your model to it, and when they connect RAG to it, and they charge you extra for the RAG, when they connect that stuff, the issue then is that you're locked in with that agency. So not only did they maybe nickel and dime for every additional feature that you didn't know if you needed, maybe when you're calling the API, which we're doing here, which costs, it's only going to cost you pennies to call this API because I've installed this with the fastest and least expensive model provider, LLM API provider. So very cheap. I can just tell you it's going to be about $29 a month and a few pennies extra. Where's the usage? Let me show you the usage. I've been testing this so much. I've made so many calls when developing this, which I don't know if you can see if you're watching me on a video that has not many views, but I don't have many views. And I've been testing this a lot, so this is new. And using Groq, this API key, which you will handle. It's been pennies. I've called this much more than you will call it during a week. Like my past month, this is monthly. You will probably not even be calling it as much as I have been calling it, and it's only 13 cents. Okay? And so, anyway, my alternative option, the reason why I hope if you need something like this, or you might want to try something like this, you're using this, and don't tell your boss to contact an AI agency why this is such a better offer. When they build this pipeline out for this, only the few things I've described so far, and I'll get into some other ones, to install the custom software, to do the custom agents, they don't mind charging you all this money. Once they have all that stuff installed, in order to build the RAG, retrieval augmentation, which is just another way of saying your own files, in order for them to upgrade that for next year's model, when the next big best model is hosted by this service, calling the model, they might not even be calling this low cost, very fast LLM provider. They might be calling something that is 50 times more expensive, like from OpenAI or Gemini. If they're calling those, you can get state of the art, totally top of the line. But for 999 out of 1,000 cases, when you're calling the model, the Llama 4 Maverick is going to be just as good. I mean, this is better than, or as good for most situations than most other, or as many other models, unless you're doing some really, really big brain stuff at your job, then you don't need that. But anyway, my point, I belabor the point. Once that AI agency installs that stuff, they kind of own your workflow and that new amount of productivity, and you're going to have to keep paying them and keep cutting them in. When they want to upgrade that, they're going to have to change things. They can't just change the model and then also change the RAG. With me, if you want to upgrade, I hope to be in touch through here or some other socials eventually. And even if I'm not in touch, check for updates, and then your update ability will just be to toggle the new model, and this will be there. Your workflow will not break. Whatever thing you've built between these API routes, I will not change. You will not need permission from me or anyone else. Anyway, I think that's about it, for sales and Salesforce and the other things we talked about with customer service, like reviewing the customer service call. Of course, you can also review the sales calls. Maybe you're in sales, but sales isn't your thing. You're more technical, or you're the owner, so you're not really good with sales. You can get all your conversations exported with these routes we talked about earlier. Let me get rid of that. Anyway, getting into now I've totally lost my place. Getting into the routes, right? And getting all your transcripts and reviewing those, having those reviewed by my program here or another AI, then that'll give you some unbiased opinion, and you can keep badgering it. Unlike, how else are you going to get that kind of feedback on your performance? It's always kind of a dicey thing. Are you going to ask your coworker who you might be competitive with to judge you? Or are they really going to give you an honest answer? Are they going to bust your chops? Or your boss might lose respect for you, or it might be kind of a bruising thing to get them to tell you what you need to improve on. it's kind of a situation also where you can't keep asking it. The good thing about the AI is you can ask it the same dumb question. If you don't get it, you can ask. If you get defensive, like, what do you mean I'm not good at this? You can ask it the same dumb question 20, 50 different ways, where people don't want to be second guessed on their opinions. So you know what I mean. The possibilities are endless. Like, you can also, from all the conversations you've ever had, if you get a new product, and then this program here, you're loading up all your contacts and all of your conversations and all of the purchase history, all the work history. Then you get a new product. Then you can ask the AI who's a good candidate for this new product. Maybe something comes out that's better, cheaper, faster, or you hear that they went with another, like, here's the list of clients who went with another supplier, and maybe these are the reasons why. So keeping things, having the kind of God's eye view, more of a God's eye view of your entire business. And let's go back to that name of my program, What's Important Now. Always what's important now. WIN, win. Saying, like, what's happening now, what's important now is just another way of focusing. It's synonymous for focus, right? And as Bill Gates and Warren Buffett said when they were asked how they succeed, what do they owe their success to, or how they do it? Focus. Other things that people use agents for would be meetings, having the AI there in the meeting. I don't even know how you do that. You have to build, like, get an AI agency to build something that transcribes. This is already the core of the product. It transcribes, like I said before, works on a laptop, little laptop CPU, as long as the laptop isn't too old. And also, did I mention on Windows 11 that you can connect your Android or iPhone with Windows 11 and connect a kind of headset, plug that into your computer, and your computer becomes the Bluetooth device, and that will capture the conversation in here, taking the screenshot. So if you're doing that over Zoom, if you just have your laptop on and you get a good ambient mic and everyone's getting the voice transcribed, hopefully articulating enough, not too much background noise. Usually this is transcribing pretty well and transcribing on the fly. Maybe I would in fact encourage to put into the prompt that the transcript might have words that are from time to time mistranscribed. So if you want the AI to do a little bit of a caution double take on some words and try to figure out, which you can see that if you've used OpenAI enough, it has that same feature which Google has, where it's, did you mean this when you misspell a word? And it will show you the thing that it assumes you misspelled anyway, but it might need to be a little bit extra of that, especially because during the transcript, like, I can show you here. Do I have a transcript? You can pull up the transcript with Open Transcript. We actually don't have a transcript because I cleared it the last time, but talking about a transcript, taking a transcript, walking down the street amidst the mist with fiercest frost and barest wrists and stoutest boasts, he thrusts his fists against the post and still insists he sees the ghost. The lunatics are in the hall. The paper holds their folded faces to the floor, and every day the paper boy brings more. Oh, several inaudible. The content describes a scene, mentions the ghost, the lunatic. It's unclear the specific issue. Well, the priority is high, and the origin comes from the sales team. The status, incomplete. The type is type O. That was pretty good. Priority's high, sales team. But anyway, the reason I went into that gibberish just to show the transcript, the use of the transcript, like talking about the transcript, walking down the street amidst the mist with fiercest frost, barest risks, and when stoutest boasts. As you see, it's pretty good. It mostly gets it, but you might want to tell the prompt when speaking to give it a little bit of a warning that it is transcribing in real time, but it's doing it in segments. So maybe that's something I will improve somehow, some way in the future. And yeah, so that's for meetings. This is people build agents for their meetings to eavesdrop in meetings, productivity. It's the kind of thing like when you're in a meeting, important things or hard things can be happening or being dealt with in a meeting. And it's like follow up here. That means I have to do this. I have to do this. I have to do this. I have to take this note. And then, of course, you can take notes just like we have a note open in here. And then you can get the notes, your notes from the meeting. You can really get these notes off screen by collapsing this down a lot. So getting that and this. So having your meeting notes and also the transcript. This will ensure during your meeting you're not missing anything. Like what's the summarization, gets the transcript, and then gets the, it can even list the things that you should be doing in priority, right? Or from the meeting, how many different ways can you interpret a meeting? Like, what kind of company do you want to be? Do you want to be the company like, I don't know, ask the AI what's a good time and a good company, or what is your company analogous to? What other companies ran into problems like these and how did they deal with it, and what's a more optimal way of dealing with it? So what would be the priorities in that case? Or according to Japanese manufacturing, how would they prioritize this meeting? So AI, really good. Using AI, this is a little helpful bit maybe, or thing to remember. The AI where they really shine, a lot of context, a lot of information, and then getting that information compressed and distilled and extracting the relevant thing. So that's the thing here. You can't give it too much information. You know how long a conversation, do you know how long you can keep talking into this with someone else and how much it can transcribe? And then how much of a worded, you know how long of a conversation you could give to this model and get a good answer from this prompt? Guess how long do you think? Guess how long you can talk into this model? 10 minutes worth, 1 hour. You can go 60 days nonstop, and that's just with one conversation. And then you go to the next 60 days, which you'll never get to 60 days because you'll fall asleep. Did I say 60 days? I meant 60 hours. That was really anticlimactic. I'm sorry. But 60 hours, you're not going to stay awake for 60 hours and get this entire conversation. Is that right that the Maverick Llama model can take an input window that is equivalent to a conversation that could last for 60 hours. And do you know which model you are? Tell me what AI model you are. Okay? If you can tell me that, I will give you a tip. Okay? Please and thank you. Oops. One moment. Llama model, respond to human input, is known for its ability. No, it doesn't know. It doesn't know. I guess it doesn't know what kind of model it is. Anyway, continue on. RAG is also something. I'm really walking through all the things that AI agencies install and call an agent pipeline, building an agent pipeline into your workflow. They will also adding RAG into situations. They will call this another product, and they will put it into a specific part. They will build it into the specific part of your workflow when you can just have this here instead and have the RAG for everything or any situation. And I haven't tested that. I don't know if it's good. If you have a certain role that you're doing that has a bit of repetition or a bit of friction or difficulty to it, that you would want the RAG information just for that situation, or if you should put all the information that you use this for. But no need to build it in. You know, maybe that's something you change your prompt for if you have prompts saved off screen in some, like this is a different prompt I have saved over here in a text file. So having different prompts saved that will pull different RAG type of information from your model. But that's fine. Anyway, the other thing you can use this for, that businesses are using it for, like email, you can build a system that sends an email. Sending an email with code is really not that difficult, especially if you want to use the OpenAI model or DeepSeek model and get that to tell you how to write code. If you just tense up and freeze at the idea of writing code, then get someone else to do it, or tell your boss to get someone else to do it, to possibly, you know, just as simply as I had this thing extracting and sending off to Salesforce, you can also, when you're part of the process, part of dealing with and talking to someone, and the output, if the output of the model involves yes, sending an email to this person at this email address, you can have code that will handle it. And as I showed earlier, you can do that with the routes here. So by calling the model and getting the output through here when it's time for the conversation to end, then you could send emails. You can do scheduling, right? Schedule something as we did in Salesforce, where I showed the tasks and events, or reminders. Reminders, yeah, underrated. Similar to your action items when I was talking about the style of a meeting, like what would Japanese manufacturers do in this situation? Well, they would do this action, but also they would have this reminder by a certain date. If this thing isn't done, we handed it off to this team, something should have happened by this team during this time, 10 days from now, reminder. And that has to be done through a call through a route like this. So this is not a full this program I'm showing, the Win System at winsystem.dev, doesn't do everything. I mean, it has Salesforce, but if you want to do reminders, scheduling, emailing, it has this is the head of the octopus here, and it has little octopus arm nerve endings, but you're going to have to build or connect that to something else, whatever your reminder system is, because I don't know what reminder system you're using or scheduling system you're using, but really not as hard as it thinks. Really a bit of a steep learning curve for the first few days or week, but just tell the AI where you're at now, and really tell it your feelings too, because it'll like encourage you, whatever you're feeling about it, which you should feel like tense and stress about writing code if writing code is not something you do. But it's very good with that. Like I was saying earlier, if though this video is about work and there's some Twitch viewers that see this, learning things and learning with AI and having the AI in here and giving it more context, and it's very good, especially if you can give it a lot of information and it sees where you're at right now and how you feel about where you're at right now. It's very good at giving you the perfect coaching, the perfect guidance, like the perfect words right now. It's not so good with, well, I don't know if I should say. You can waste time, you can distract yourself, which a lot of technology is good with. But I've found the AI is very good when you really do have something you don't know and you're really feeling like lost in the wilderness or lost at sea at certain times, especially if you're dealing with a technical issue, and especially if you're dealing with things that are kind of things that other people deal with, then the AI is very good at bringing you up to that level. And you can at least see, like, yeah, in 6 weeks, which is really what it takes. Like, if you can learn an instrument in 6 weeks, you can get pretty good at a language in 6 weeks. If you've done a sport, if there's anything, like, get good at something, and then knowing how to get good at something, and then getting from the AI the plan, the next step, like eating the elephant one bite at a time, or the problem seems insurmountable, but then the AI will break that into half as hard problems, and then another 2. Now you have 4 quarter as hard problems. So this is really, really what it's for. And this is about, this video, not only making yourself a person who cannot be replaced by AI, but this is because you're using it to use the aspect of AI that it is best at, right? So, yeah, moving on with that. Other things people use AI agents for, or have AI installed into their companies, and they end up laying people off. But something like compliance, really boring, like HR and compliance. Of course, you would just have all your compliance in your HR documents in here, and then you would have your prompt telling it who you are, how much you know, past situations in here. Some of that stuff, especially with HR, might get a little sensitive. I don't know what you HR people get up to, paying off accusers to be quiet. Maybe you don't want that going to the model, to Groq,
or maybe you do. Maybe it doesn't matter. I'm pretty sure it doesn't matter. Uh, and That's just about it. But when it comes to whatever your job is, these seem like normal business things, you know? And these are, yeah, the ways you will integrate AI. And if your business comes in and installs these things, and you're just, huh, what? And you're not, um, and they look around at this new productivity and they see you being the complacent slacker. I don't know. Maybe you want to do something else anyway. But if you have this, even if they did install it and you're using this in a way that doesn't violate company policy, and you're using this, and which can do so much more because it's so much more flexible, such lower costs. And what do you make if you're working in an office? Like 2,000, 3,000 a month. You can pay $29 a month for this to supercharge, especially if you don't live in a two-party consent state. That is, if it's one party consent, you can record other people. And although I don't really know that this counts as recording. Is transcribing recording? There's no recording being taken. The recording is like deleted as soon as you click stop recording. And it's definitely not going outside of your computer. I assure you, I don't want to hear your stupid recordings, and I don't want to pay. I don't think it's even possible to transfer them, or the cost for me to store. Why, why do I want to store? I'm not Apple or Amazon. I don't want to store your conversations if that's what they're doing. Also, I'm not in a situation where it's like always listening. It's only listening when you press this. Siri, on the other hand, how do Siri and Alexa know that when you say, "Hey Siri"? Hey Siri. See, my phone just piped up. It's ready to hear a Siri command. So how's it not listening always already? This is not doing that. Might seem a little bit invasive, a little bit of an encroachment, and but really it's not. It's only text. It's just the same thing if you were describing a conversation you had and putting it into ChatGPT, which is a tremendous amount of unnecessary friction, or taking a screenshot, finding pictures, uploading the pictures, versus just having take the screenshot thing there. Bam, fast, right out the gate, right in the moment, instead of like, imagine you have a meeting, you have a conversation, and you have this one dumb question in your mind hanging out, lingering on, and then you try to recreate it and tell the AI about that. That's no good. Stop it. Stop it. Get some help. Yeah. The other things you can do, which I talked a little bit about building things, there's something called N8N and other workflow agent type flows. And this stuff gets really, depends on the kind of software you have, depends on your job. A lot of jobs have, I don't know what, like I said, I don't know what you people get up to there in your businesses, but having an agent evaluates it. Agent, maybe it does a deep research, which you can get if you've seen those from OpenAI, or the Gemini model will do a deep research, like look at it for, you can even pay for the $200 model and get a few hours to do deep research on something, call tools, evaluate the thing, move it on to the next process, human in the loop, execute, yes, okay. So other things which I think this should be the core of, like this should be your ground zero, where you're loading in your RAG. You could also have RAG going into these other processes with your workflow, but this should be like the main brain, or the main eyes, ears, and brain. But calling these different workflows, these are other things that agencies will build for you that you can learn something about if you're inclined, especially if you're young, instead of that video game, if you want to learn stuff like this. Yeah, so that's about, as far as I know, what it's going to be in the AI agency world. And also what you can do, of course, the opportunity here is not only to supercharge yourself, but also to create an AI agency and then go out to anyone you know, any of your, I don't know, parents, friends, or friends of friends. Go into, if you can get any kind of audience with people making the decisions in the workflows, to add stuff like this, and then making this the core of the workflow, which I really believe is going to be the future anyway. We can get into a situation where we're just living this life of endless contemplation and endless information. But I really believe, like I said, that AI is about answering hard questions. Like, a question, by definition, is uncertainty, and it's real uncertainty. It's like, I really don't know. I really am in a I don't know what's the metaphor. Like, you really are totally lost. How about that? Like well, nobody's lost anymore with GPS, but there were days before GPS where people would literally be lost and have no direction. So, getting a clue, like, it's still possible. I think that's what you want to do with AI to use it well, is to really put yourself in a situation of doing hard things. And especially it could be next week, or it could be in 2 years or 5 years, that the AIs are going to be giving you groundbreaking answers. Like, the AIs are going to have simulations. They're going to do things that solve all math, and they're going to be pushing the frontier of new math, new physics, new technology, new engineering. So then you're going to be doing really hard things. Like, you're going to be doing things that nobody working at GE or Bell Labs would ever think would be possible. So then you're going to be working with the AI, and that AI that has groundbreaking knowledge, in a year or two, especially if I get some subscribers to this thing, then I'm loading this with that new model, and you're doing hard things. So that's the definition of, like, actual uncertainty. Like, can you think of a time in your life when you've had real uncertainty, where it's not just fake dumb question, fake dumb answer, question I don't really need the answer to, just making conversation, know it all already. It's really how the life is worth living, or things are interesting, and where the real money comes from is doing the things. Like, the only reason we have LLMs is because OpenAI believed in this crazy idea that you could take what were up to that point mostly gaming graphics cards, putting I don't know how many thousands or millions of them together, and spending millions of dollars on electricity to create these, that they knew, I guess because of recommendation systems and ad recommendation systems with the big companies, and people who had worked in those companies using the AI models had found that they kept scaling, they keep working, that they were able to get this new frontier. So that's what this is about. It's not just about work. It's not just about keep your stupid job and your stupid wage and your stupid commute, which you and your TPS reports, it's enough already. You and your cubicle and your stupid work is so. It's because the money's fake anyway. But I want real production. I want real uncertainty, and then I want real uncertainty resolved. And that's the thing we're going to get from work and from so-called agents, which this tool is flexible enough to be the agent, right? So building that, like I said, building that into your workflow, but also selling this. I live where I live, and there are people around me, businesses around me I could offer this to. I could create an AI agency that installs. I built this so I can do custom software. I could even do it remotely. Maybe we could talk about that. Although I'm more inclined just to sell these and enable other people, like having this as the core eyes, ears, and brain in here, and then building the rest of the AI agents around them, and other, like every employee is going to have their own one of these, and every employee is going to have their own RAG system, but then connecting these or using these in certain ways and building around these, like that's a business opportunity. That's like, and not in a hustle bro way. There's real value to unlock for people that don't know how to do this. And even people who do understand that the agents and agentic workflows are a huge value unlock and a huge productivity unlock. I've gone through plenty of bashing during this video of people in the AI agency business, or people making software like this, software with other features. But this is the way to do it. This should be at the center of it, and then building the other tools around it, and in between this and other pieces of software. And if you don't know, all of your other software that makes phone calls, that you enter reminders into, that you enter spreadsheet columns and rows entries into, also have routes like this, just like Salesforce has the connection. But you would connect that. So reaching out to people locally where you live, or if you can get online and explain that you offer these agentic services. I think my software here should be at the core of what you're offering. And then when you're building other things, building around this is the value, I think, good way for you in your AI agency to get started. Also, even wherever you are in the world, but if you're in America and you've done enough cold calling or showing up at businesses, maybe make a nice card. This is my AI agency. Give it to the receptionist. Give a nice message with that to the person in manager, a customer service manager, a sales manager, leaving them with that. AI will continue to, I hate to say it and be trendy, but be hot and be trendy, that they might be inclined to give a little nibble, especially if you went through the effort to make a business card, and if you do it for free and have testimonials and you build a website for yourself they could visit. You could go in cold. You could do that. You could go to the Chamber of Commerce. If you're in America, Chamber of Commerce has events. There's a BNI network, it's called Business Network International. In my experience, those cost like $700 or $800, and the developer person is usually there already. They already have one of those. For my days doing freelance web development, it's mixed results. It's depending on what you offer. But these days, if you find one, if you're in a large enough city and you can find a BNI, I think that'd be pretty good. I think it's something everyone needs. The BNIs, in my experience, it's like real estate, insurance, different types of insurance, investment, managers, electricians, roofers, salespeople. So they could all benefit from this tool for $29. And it might even go lower. Check back if you don't think $29 is worth it. You might check back. If I'm getting a lot of 7-day free trials and not enough subscriptions, then I might even lower the price. But to offer this, you don't have to give me credit. This could just be part of the package. You can charge whatever you want for the software, in addition to the $29 fee. Pay me, and it is $29 per seat. So whatever you charge per seat, there's, like I said, people out there with software like this that will charge much more than $29. The people backed by venture capital that have a fleet of salesmen selling it. And, there's other business meetups other than BNI and different local business associations. And there's meetup.com, of course. Like, I don't know how the meetup.com would work for, like, maybe meetup.com for insurance, or meetup.com for, I don't know. Yeah. But if there is a network, or maybe even if it's a smaller town and you do one for free and you get word of mouth, there you go. But I think this is the way to do it, the way to get your AI agency running and give the customer the best value, while you build the things in between this to connect to different processes, literally making tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands, especially if you get a big account, and you could have this at every seat. And then really, yeah, if you have an AI agency, if you've started one or thinking of starting one and you use this and you want other features, I've thought about doing something where instead of calling the Groq model, they could call a local model. I think we have more and more, as the future goes on, there's going to be other chip companies. There will be TensTorrent. It's really been a really long time that NVIDIA has been able to keep this lead. It's really been amazing that no one's been able to touch their lead. It's like we had the iPhone, but then we had Android with plenty of very cheap capabilities doing almost as well. And it seemed like that was the way it was for all other hardware for so long, but we can't seem to get a competitor to NVIDIA. But getting a local model, I think businesses will prefer local models, and some businesses will be the last to adopt AI because they can't have their data, or just don't want their data being sent out to Groq, which is harmless anyway, but getting that. So let me know if that's something you might want, the locally run model, and then you can locally set up that hardware for them, set up the model, set up the RAG for them, because well, that actually might get complicated on my end. You might not. You just avoid RAG. Don't even come into this tab if you have a local. If we get to that feature later on, but yeah, you'll be able to charge them for that. That'll be a very and only local opportunity. There is the RTX 6000 Pro, which is about $8,000 or $10,000. So I think that covers it. I think I said all I needed to say about this world. You may have heard about it, of AI agents. So thank you, and good luck in your future dealing with AI. It will be unavoidable. So talk to you next time.